Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kentucky Go Digital Live. My name is Heather Worrell with the Office of Education Technology. The second episode of the December series, Superintendents Creating Systems of Efficiency for District Leadership. In this show, we will be learning how to use forms, organize PD attendance, common assessments, and more. Our first superintendent show featured Brian Harper from McCracken County Schools and their use of Google Hangouts for principals meetings. If you missed the show, don't worry, you can always check it out on this Kentucky Go Digital YouTube channel. We are so honored to host our featured guest today, Carter County Superintendent, Mr. Ronnie Dotson, and Carter County Supervisor of Instruction, Miss Judy Dotson. Hello. I am also joined today by our Kentucky Go Digital Live team. Miss Elaine Abernatha is the Tech Integration Specialist from McCracken County. She'll be running tech support. Brooke Whitlow, Instructional Tech Coordinator of Hardin County. She will be manning the YouTube Live viewer questions on the live chat. And Miss Courtney DeRosset, Chief Information Officer for Floyd County Schools, will be sharing the action on site at the STLP Regional Competition in Pikeville, Kentucky. Hey, Courtney, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on today?
Yes, I am in Pikeville, Kentucky at the Expo Center here. We have our regional STLP competition. We have tons and tons and tons of kids that have created. They are sharing with judges right now, hoping to advance to that Rep Arena stage in March. But the big thing is they are so proud of all their projects. The energy is awesome. It's just an exciting time right now for these students and for their coaches and for schools. I'm also here with the awesome digital learning coach, Ben Maynard.
Hey, guys.
And he can share a little light about what's going on with his role and with STLP too.
Awesome. It's a good day to be here in Pikeville. There are, I think, over 100 tables set up currently from about 10 or 12 districts. And so a very good representation out of the mostly Region 8 area. So a lot of exciting projects. I've seen drones and all kinds of super cool things down there today. So excited to be here. And of course, as Heather and our team always talk about, this is the end game for us. All that we do, having Miss Judy and Mr. Ronnie on today about, digital efficiencies and things doing from that level, all end up culminating where? With kids making stuff. And so we have a lot of kids that have made stuff today, practicing a whole lot of life skills. So really excited to be here today. Doing what we're doing. So excited to be part of this webcast as well. And I'm going to quickly turn it over to the one, the only, Jeff Sobolski.
Hey, so what a great day. Thank you all for taking a minute. I'm going to slide in here. Just take a quick second. I don't want to take a lot of your time. You got a lot of great things to talk about, but I know you probably already got the view of all the students. We've got over 1,000 students here today with almost 120 different projects that they've been working on all year on how they're incorporating technology to solve things in their school, their community. Amazing things we see going on here. It's such an absolutely inspirational day. Back when I was in district, this was the day that I would always recharge my batteries, coming in and seeing why we're doing what we're doing and being reminded of the amazing things that our students are doing with technology today. So awesome. Please, there's many ways to get involved with STLP. If your district is involved, there's more ways to get deeper involved. So please always reach out to me, check out the STLP website, and there's lots of great information, lots of good stuff going on. Our state championship will be March 29th this year in Lexington. Last year we had about 14,000 people come together to celebrate students using technology. So we want to see that number grow and grow and grow. And I know that your students are doing great stuff. The key to think about with STLP is it's much more than a club. The things that they're already doing in their classes are things that fit here. Bring the stuff that they're learning. So they're demonstrating how they're learning. They're doing new projects and things. Bring that and use that to get involved with STLP. It doesn't have to be something special on its own. Bring what they're already using. So there's lots of great ways. But I'm going to go take care of a little situation down here with the competition. But thank you for giving me a couple minutes, and good luck with your webcast, guys. Awesome.
Talk about exciting, being surrounded by all this energy and two awesome men like Ben Maynard and Jeff Sobolski. Woohoo! But I am so excited to introduce our hosts And our presenters today from Carter County, Ronnie Dotson and Judy Dotson, the superintendent and instructional lead for Carter County. I have known them quite a long time. They were from Pike County. I was too, and we worked together. And as a student and as a teacher, I saw them be the best models of the way administrators and instructors of supervision should be in our districts. And being a teacher and seeing that type of model actually influenced me to be and go on and get my administration, and to have them on the show and to hear how they're even growing even more and doing such amazing things in their district is just testimony to the type of leader that they both are. So guys, I am so excited to have you here along with the crew. So please take it away and show us what you're doing.
Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you so much, Courtney. We are so honored to be here today to share with you some of the things that we are doing in the way of technology that has helped us to be more efficient and more effective in our district. So we'll start with that and tell you that many of the things that we're going to show you today are Google-based, and we are so excited about the progress that we have made toward these initiatives. But I will tell you, we are still learning and we are still getting better at what we're doing. But I want to give a special thanks to Barrett Bush, who is our Chief Information Officer. Pretty much Judy and I will have the vision of what we would like to see and what we'd like for it to look like, and Barrett is the man that makes it happen. So we appreciate him so much and for his expertise in the field of technology. So before Google organization, pretty much like probably most school systems, we had shelves of notebooks and documentation that were maintained yearly. Truthfully, we were running out of space and feeling overwhelmed with the management of all of the documentation. But now that we have shifted to Google platforms, most of our documentation is housed on the computer. So we've actually freed up filing cabinets and rooms that used to house filing cabinets as a result of moving to this platform. Before we start, I want to tell you just a little bit about our district. We have approximately 4,800 students with 6 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 2 high schools, 1 career and technical school, and our district for about 3 years now has been classified as a district of distinction. So we want to share a few of the reasons why we chose Google and why we chose to go to that platform. First being that we needed a system to help us manage the tracking of our professional learning. We found that we were spending way too much time and effort on searching for sign-in sheets, inputting attendance, and calculating professional development hours for teachers. At the end of the year, we always came up and we were trying to decide if teachers were in attendance or not in attendance and going back and looking for sheets. So that was one reason that we thought we needed something that would help us to be more efficient. We also needed a system to help us maintain tracking for an awards initiative that we have here in Carter County that's called the Teacher Leader of Excellence Award. This initiative is a means of recognizing teachers who go above and beyond the requirement for professional learning. We established a set of criteria along with their teachers that helps them to determine if they can be a gold or a silver level teacher leader. And that depends on the level of criteria that they meet toward professional learning. We provided them with a special dinner, a pinning ceremony, and to be quite honest, last year we thought it was very successful. However, we spent an endless number of hours calculating and tracking to identify our teacher leaders of excellence. But this year, we're going to show you how we do that, and it is just very simple now that we're using Google Forms to do that.
So, as most of you all also need a platform to store your curriculum and grade level and content resources, we needed the same. In the past, we used our local databases, which is probably what most of you use. We called it our U drive. I've heard it called an H drive. It just has different names, I guess, depending on the district. But this was not very teacher friendly. And we found out that as we continued to add different items to our database, it became very cumbersome to teachers. And so teachers had to scroll through an endless amount of files that were irrelevant to the things that they really needed. So Google has provided us with a platform to house our curriculum and resources that teachers need to go along with that curriculum. We've also developed common assessments within our district for each unit that our teachers teach throughout the year. We needed a place to house those. Where can teachers go to access our common assessments? Again, in the past, we always used our U Drive, but with so much information, it just became overwhelming. For our common assessments, we also needed a way that we could analyze our data, and we spent hours and hours in the past calculating the percent of students that met or exceeded the benchmark that we've established for ourselves as a district. And now it's just a minimal input on the end of teachers, and the data is populated into a Google sheet, and it's automatic. They're analyzed for us, tells us exactly where every school, every class, every grade level is currently scoring on common assessments. So it's pretty fabulous.
And finally, one of the final reason that we chose Google Platform was for the consistency. We wanted our schools, no matter if you were elementary, middle, or high, but we wanted every one of them to see the same information. We wanted to be able to access their information from one side. And so Google's system has provided us with consistency and access to materials throughout the district.
So we're going to show you a few things, a few ways that we use Google. The first thing that you're going to see is a snippet from my Team Drive. If we've chose to use Team Drives rather than just sharing documents because it makes organization a little bit easier, and it's very clear and simplistic for teachers as they log into the Team Drive. So I probably have about 25 folders in my Team Drive, but they're very specific to the needs that specific teachers or grade levels. So first of all, we've organized the system that we share with our staff members. Again, it's in Team Drive, so every person in the district will not have access to every folder. It's on a needs-based access. So teachers no longer have to search through those irrelevant folders. If I'm a first grade teacher, I no longer have to look through middle ELA folders or high school math folders to find a first grade folder. When a teacher logs into their Team Drive, they're simply going to see a school folder that their principals created for school level information. They're going to see an academy resource folder, which is information that we share with them during our monthly academy meetings that we host for every teacher in the district. And they're going to see a grade or content specific folder that we've created for them that now houses their curriculum maps and their common assessments and any other grade specific or content specific information that we want them to have. So looking at my screen, you're going to see that I have an ECHS teachers folder, and there's 56 members in that folder. That's actually a school-based folder that the principal created and shared with me. She made me a member of that folder, so I have access to any information that she's sharing with her teachers, which would be PDSA forms, maybe some PD forms or agendas, just different things that they might be participating in at the school level. So only East High teachers have access to that folder. It's not in everybody's drive. It's only in that group of teachers. The next folder you see is our 5th grade teacher folder. So again, you see I've got 31 members that have access to that folder. Only 31 people can see what's in that. So first grade teachers, they really don't need to see what's in the 5th grade folder. So only 5th grade teachers would have that folder in their drive. And again, their common assessments and their curriculum maps would be housed there. Then you're going to see first grade. It's in alphabetical order as you go through. So you're going to see first grade is next, and then 4th grade, we've got 29 teachers. The Heritage Elementary folder, that's actually our district folder. It serves as a two-way communication for us. We use that for improvement planning, and you're going to see we only have 5 members at Heritage that has access to that. And that would be a couple of members here at the central office on our district leadership team, as well as a couple of their school leadership team members that would also have access. And then the folder directly beside of that, that's our high school ELA folder. So all of our English teachers, East and West both, have access to that specific folder.
Okay, as Judy kind of mentioned, we meet with every teacher in our district for professional learning purposes, and we actually do that once per month. We use an academy resource drive to house resources that we share with them during those academies. This slide is a snippet of what teachers would see in the academy resource drive. So you can see this particular on the screen in front of you, this particular academy focused quite a bit on RTI, the process we have for RTI, what teachers do, the form that you would use. We have an RTI lesson plan that we kind of made for them to use as a guide. And then also during this particular academy, we went over a couple of vocabulary strategy, taboo you see at the bottom right, and then some talking stems. So anything that took place during an academy for your grade level would be housed in this Academy Resources Drive, so that when you go back to your school and you want to do some of the activities that were presented to you during that month's academy, then you know exactly where to go to find them.
Okay, so this is a look at, you were able to see on my homepage in my Google Team Drive, you were able to see the 5th grade folder, the 4th grade folder of 1st grade, and the ELA, high school ELA folder. So this is what the screenshot from the high school ELA folder looks like. You're going to see English 1 and English 2, 3, and 4. They're all included within there. So teachers would click on their specific content that they're teaching, and they would find their curriculum maps and their common assessment. And then also we participate in lesson studies in our district. So we have access to our lesson study forms, our processes. As we're doing lesson studies, we work through a Google Doc, so teachers can just add to that lesson plan as they go along, and it's just automatically right there for them to work together and collaboratively.
Miss Dotson,
Yes.
I just want you guys to know that we are totally nerding out right now. Like, we have a little back channel going on, and I mean, we are blown away. I wish every superintendent in the state could see this. I mean, I just thank you so much for sharing this. Like, anything you want to chime in and say? Because I know one of you said you had cold chills.
Oh, that'd probably be Courtney since she's ill.
No. It
Well,
wasn't.
I mean, I'm sitting here watching this, and I've already texted my entire group of curriculum directors in the district, and I said, you have to watch this because it's not just one thing, it's just your whole system is just so inspiring.
Thank you
so much. This next slide is actually one of our biggest areas that has been a shift for us in helping us to analyze and track our common assessments. We have common assessments in every grade level from kindergarten through 12th grade. And we spent, as I'm sure most districts do, a lot of time trying to decide what percentage of the kids had mastered the content. And so there again, Barrett, our technology guy, we just told him what we wanted. And basically, if you look at the left-hand side of the screen, you see we're on 1st grade. And those 6 things going down the side on the left are our schools. And it tells us on Unit 1 assessment, the number of students that scored at least 95% or above, 75% or above on that common assessment. And the form is made in such a way that if 75% of the kids enrolled in the school in that grade level score 75% or above, then your column turns green. If you don't, then it would be yellow or red, depending on the percentage of students. So it's a real quick way. You can look at unit assessment number 1 real quickly. You can look down through there and see that our schools did real well. So we don't have an issue at all. I think on Heritage there, you can see we've got something wrong with the number of students that we put in. But unit assessment 2, at first glance, you might think that some of them have not done real well, but then you can look and see that not all of them have put them in. So only 68% of the Olive Hill 1st grade has been entered so far. So, and you can see the other numbers there, but they're all red until numbers begin to be entered in there. So that has saved us an enormous amount of time. We have a login on our district webpage that teachers access, and simply their role in doing this is to simply log in enter the number of students that they tested and the number that met the benchmark. And again, benchmark is that you had to get at least 75% correct on that common assessment. Our Google Sheets pull the data, does a calculation for us. So just at a quick look, we can see how our schools are performing. I can't say enough great things about this particular thing, how much time that it has saved us. We used to calculate and go through and look at the scores and see how many kids met the benchmark, do the math to figure that out for every classroom. So now that's done for us. So it's just a great benefit to Google. One of my favorite things, and I think Judy's as well, is that we have access in our Google organization system is to our meeting sign-ins and PD tracking. We no longer maintain sign-in sheets in our districts. Teachers receive a QR code at the beginning of the year. We place their codes on professional learning folders. Every employee in the district got on the left, you see the black folder that has our vision on it. And everybody got a QR code that is specific to them. And then we also placed it on their book. We do a book study every year. For the 7 years we've been here, we've done at least one book study each year. And so they also place it on that. Some teachers place it on the back of their ID badges or simply took a picture on their phone. And then the only thing we've had to pay for of everything that we've talked about so far is that to have 25 administrators to have an app that would read the QR codes and then transfer it over to the system that I'm going to show you was $900 per year. But that was the only expense that we've incurred with everything that we've done. But administrators download an app onto their phone. So rather than taking time to sign in, we simply do a quick scan of their QR codes. The great thing about the scans is that all the information is dropped into a Google Sheet that calculates everything. This slide shows how the report looks, and this is a summary report. So you can see the first one would go up and tell you that it was scanned by Karen Tackett, the date of the scan. It's very detailed. It'll tell you what time it was scanned, the person's first and last name, the school that they're assigned to, and the date of that PD. The yes under it, we mentioned earlier about that in our district we have teacher leaders of excellence that you can get an award for that at the end of the year. One of the things in order to get that award is that you bring your homework with you to your monthly academy meeting. So we actually have a way on that scan that we do to be able to, after we scan them in, it wants to know yes or no. Did they bring their homework? And you just click yes, and then it automatically transfers it to that detailed sheet so we can see that. The next sheet you can see, it keeps a running total for us. Like, for example, the first name on there is Aaron Rayburn. Aaron, if you watch this, we're proud of you. You've got 59 PD hours so far this year. But at the end of the year, we put the criteria that it takes for the silver level and the gold level Teacher Leader of Excellence awards. And the form is set up so that it turns their name the color of the level that they would receive. So I can't tell you how many weeks we spent last year gathering data to try to determine if someone was a silver level or a gold level. And now all we have to do is open up this screen and it will turn them the color of their the award that they should get at the end of the year. So that's just, I can't say enough great things about how much time this is saving us alone.
And
I love, sorry to interject here, but we often battle in the principal that I worked with previously before going to KDE. He would often talk about how teachers get hung up on their 24 hours, like they got to get that 24. And it's really about continuous learning and really going above. I mean, we're constantly learning, and I love that you guys are celebrating your teachers who are going above and beyond with their professional learning and awarding them with these silver, I think you said silver and gold. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Last year we had about 130 teachers that were recognized at a dinner, a banquet, and that were pinned as gold or silver. So lots of people really bought into it.
Yes, I will be sharing that idea as I travel. I love it. Thank you all so much for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. And I want to go back to recognizing Barrett again, because it seems like after we talked to him about creating these forms and sheets for us, every time he would stop by the office, it was, could you make it do this? Could you make it do that? And so the fact that he was able to, their entire name will be shaded in as either gold or silver. That's just been an amazing piece for us. It's really going to save us a lot of time. I'm going to talk for just a minute about Hangouts. Hangouts is new to us, but we started last month. We were actually getting ready to have a video conference with our principals, and we have an old system called Tandberg, I think is the name of it, and it went down. And so luckily, Barrett was here and he was able to get us quickly set up in Google Hangout, and it's become one of our favorite things that we're able to do. What's so great about Hangouts is it doesn't matter where you're at. We've all downloaded the app on our phones, and so our principals, we can be out in their buildings, and we can be chatting back and forth with someone across the district just very easily and have a group hangout together. So that's been a quick and easy tool and a great means for us to be able to talk to our staff.
Quick question. Do you find that this, I'm curious, I'm asking my own question. This wasn't on YouTube. This is just the Brooke Whitlow question about Hangouts for you as a district leader. But I find that, like, when you are communicating with people across the district, do you think it's easier to use Hangouts versus email? And could you give me a little bit of your experience on that? Because I have a hard time convincing people to give Hangouts a shot. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
I think it depends on what we need to communicate with them. I think it's great, and from time to time, usually once a month or so, we would need to have a video conference. We meet with our principals every month in an academy setting. And in addition to that, sometimes we would just have some managerial type things that we would need to talk to them about. Sometimes an email is quick and easy if it's just something that, you just need to say, hey, I need you to do this or submit this. But I would much rather see people's faces when I'm talking to them than not.
If I'm talking to more than one person, I'd rather see them. And Hangouts is a way to do that without having to disrupt them and have them to leave their building. We actually used Hangouts just a couple weeks ago with Morehead State University. They didn't really want to use Hangouts from Morehead, so they came here to my office and we talked with all of the principals in our district. They were going through their accreditation process and needed some input from local school systems. But that was a way, and I told them that we never call our principals in for managerial things. When we have our ELA meeting every month, and that is a meeting that we have that is focused on professional learning, and it's never managerial things. So Hangouts is a great way to take care of those things that you need to do that doesn't require you to bring people in and leaving their building.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that, because KentuckyGoDigital.com has their previous episode just about Google Hangouts for that exact purpose that you mentioned. So thank you for bringing that up.
I think we have just a couple more tools that we're going to share with you, a few more things that we're doing. Of course, we couldn't talk about Google and not talk about Google Classroom specifically. So this is another platform that we're using with our administrators. Of course, our teachers, like most of yours, have used Google Classroom, some elements from Google Classroom anyway, for a few years now. But we didn't want our administrators to be left behind. So we wanted to make sure that they felt equipped to use Google Classroom with their teachers. This is a great resource for us to be able to provide professional learning, post an assignment for teachers to read, an article. We are really heavily weighted in the belief that teachers need to be engaged in some type of professional learning every month. So of course, we've already talked about our book study, but in addition to that, we do lots of ed leadership article readings. And so this is just a great platform to throw some articles out there and then ask teachers to participate in a discussion. So this specific screen that you're looking at, this is actually our assignment for this month for our principals as we get ready for our Excellence in Leadership Academy next week, which is our principals meeting. And before they attend that meeting, they are to log into their Google Classroom, read the article, and then I think we have maybe 3 questions there that we want them to engage in a discussion with each other. And then when we get together during our ELA meeting, they will share their article findings. We have 3 different articles being read right now in Google Classroom and being responded to, and so they will share the findings of their article with the rest of the group when we get together next week. And again, most of them are using this as an avenue of professional learning for their teachers already, but we want them to stay on top of it. So we're going to look at, I showed you a snippet of my Team Drive folders at the beginning. This is one of the school level team drives. This is Tiger Creek Elementary's. This is a way we use team drives for improvement planning. So you're going to see that there's a copy of their 30-day plan, their 60-day plan, and their 90-day plan within that folder up to this point. So there's also, you would find their professional development agendas and any other specific resources that I need them to submit. They would submit them through the Team Drive rather than submitting them through email. So most administrators are like we are and are going to receive, you know, anywhere from 50 to 100 emails a day. So sometimes things might get lost or shuffled down to the bottom, and this just ensures that things are pretty much secure and easily accessible, especially from our end. So I simply, in the beginning, created the Team Drive, and I dropped a Google Doc and had them make a copy of the Google Doc. And then that's what they work from every month to complete their 30, 60, 90-day plans.
One of the expectations that I have of all administrators is that they complete a walkthrough of every teacher in their building every week. So this next tool that we're going to show you is actually a way that we collect the responses for walkthrough data. This one in particular is from Pritchard Elementary. And you can see Jason McGlone is the principal. Jim Ham is the new assistant principal as of December the 1st, and Jeff Porter just retired. But it shows you the number of walkthroughs that each one of them have completed, the percentage of the 284 that have been completed. And then if you could see the rest of the form, there's lots of different things about the percentage of children that they found that were actively engaged, the location of the teacher. There's lots of things that would probably be common among any of our walkthrough instruments, but ours, the information is housed on Google, and it actually gets emailed out to the individual teachers after a walkthrough has been completed. And I'm able to go in and just select dates and see how many walkthroughs have been completed in each one of the buildings in our district. And we're able to see that same chart like that you see there. We would be able to see, you know, is a school having a problem in a particular area. And one of the things that we did was to calibrate with each other and make sure that, you know, that Mr. McGlone, Mr. Ham, and Mr. Porter and the district felt like if children were actively engaged, and we all agreed that they were, and that we all knew what that really looked like, and so that we aren't just going through and marking yes at 100% are actively engaged when they're in fact maybe perhaps not. So that at the district level, being able to see this information helps us to recognize things that we might want to include in our district academies that we have every month. If we see that maybe perhaps at the high level questioning is one of the questions on our walkthrough document. If we see that that's slipping a little bit, then we may bring that back in as a review for our teachers during academy that month. But this is just a great tool to be able to just scroll down through there and see a snippet of a school really quickly.
And the last thing we're going to talk about is our Google Academy. So several districts, I think, across the state have provided some sort of assistance for their teachers in trying to achieve the level 1 certification for Google. So we started that back in maybe September with an orientation meeting. We actually had our teachers go through an application process to apply to be a part of this, and we meet with them on a regular basis. You can see we've got our unit guide on the screen for you as to how we've divided the units up, and our district leadership team, we meet with our teachers. Of course, they're working through the modules independently, but they're there as a team to support one another, and we're there with them as well to support them. We have 35 educators currently participating in this process with us, and we hope for them to be finished and tested by February the 19th. So we're hoping to have at least 35 Google certified educators, level 1, by February the 19th. So it's a really exciting time for our teachers, and they're doing a great job working through their Google Classroom work.
Okay, and that's a summary of some of the things that we're doing here in Carter County through Google that have helped to make us much more efficient and effective.
Well, wow. I am so excited. I want to go back and watch this several times. And I've been screenshotting so many of the slides that you've been sharing, and I've been pushing them to our Kentucky Go Digital hashtag to kind of show people all the innovative ways that you're leading in your district. That Teacher Academy is awesome. And I know that Laura Raganos, who is my teammate, has been doing a lot of work in your district as well. Can you talk a little bit about her impact in your district?
Laura has been wonderful. She has been a fabulous resource and just so willing to reach out and to help guide us along the way. We had teachers participate in the level trainings last year. We went through the 3-day, the administrator and then the teachers, and then the summer with the administrators and the teachers. And so I think that got us on the road to doing some of the things that we're doing.
Yeah, she's a big fan of your all's work as well. And is he a DTC or a CIO? Talk to us a little bit about Barrett. And really, you mentioned a couple times that he's been instrumental in helping design some of these systems. But what is his role exactly?
He's our district technology coordinator, chief information officer. He does not have a background in education, but his knowledge in technology is just unreal. He has just absolutely been phenomenal. We dream it up and he makes it happen. So every district needs a Barrett.
So that's what I was going to ask next. What advice do you have for superintendents who haven't fully leveraged the support of their CIO or DTC? Do you have any advice on that?
Sometimes I think you just have to think about how could you be more effective or more efficient, and just realize that there are tools out there that can help you to accomplish that. And I would dare say that most technology coordinators or district technology coordinators in our state probably have enough expertise to at least learn about different things. And Barrett has learned as much as we have. Barrett's learned much more than we have because he actually knows how to make this happen now. And he just didn't come to us knowing that. He had to learn, and he had to, trial and error and make things happen. So I would just say to challenge people to reach new levels. It's always fun. It's invigorating, and I just think that it's a great thing to do.
I think that the fact that you are like a power team, that you mentioned that you dreamed it. I think being the leaders of the district, for you all to dream it and be okay with change and be okay to model that for your principals, hoping that they are going to go and then model that for their teachers. So eventually it gets to like all behind me, it gets to these kids.
Right.
It's starting with you all, and that you see the value in Barrett, you see what he can do for education, and you are just like a dream team. Yeah, everybody wants. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, Courtney.
I was just about to chime in and say, you said that you thought the instructional technology coordinators out there in the state or technology integration specialists are willing to listen and work through the processes. And I'm here to tell you that we are here and we are ready, and we want to help create these processes. And I think it's so inspiring for just district leadership in general, no matter what position you are. Just to be able to be willing to say, this process is clunky and ineffective and not, efficient. Hey, techie person, can you help us figure this out? And, that's a conversation that we want to have so bad, but, it's just sometimes I think there's just a breakdown in communication. And so it's really inspiring to hear you guys as the superintendent and the leadership team in your district to say, we love Barrett, and, you're taking advantage of the skill set that he has. And I'm sure that he is happy as a clam, creating that stuff for you guys, because that's how we operate. That's that's what we want to do. We we lay awake at night thinking of that kind of stuff. And we're like, I wish somebody would ask, you know. So that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. And I'm gonna be spamming all of my district leadership with this video in the coming days because it was just amazing. Heather, are we ready to roll into a little bit of teaching?
I think Ben might have a comment. Ben, is there something you want to add?
So many awesome tools that you guys have used. You've talked about the modeling, all kinds of cool things. But for those that may be listening, obviously you guys are dreamers and visionaries with what you do. So what are some next steps, some things that you think or maybe other processes that you're looking at to maybe digitize for efficiency? Or how have you seen this maybe infiltrate the buildings? And so what are some next steps that maybe Carter County has planned with these?
One of the things we're working on now is to digitize all of our personnel folders. We've actually done that with all past employees, and we are getting ready to transfer all of our current employees onto digital forms. And as I said, we now have empty rooms in our central office where we used to rent a room across the road in order to house everybody and all of the documents that we had to store. So that's one of the things. And then also with finance, we're looking at ways that we could digitize that in order to be more efficient and you know, it's just so much more effective once you know, the process of getting it going is a little cumbersome sometimes, but once you do, I can't tell you how much time we're saving this year and able to be out in classrooms because we're not tracking people down to find out if they were at the February PD meeting or not. You know, that just happened all the time, and more than you would think. You would think, well, it'd be a simple thing to look at the sign-in sheet and see we're there, but it doesn't happen that way, unfortunately. So but
so
we're always.
Let me reiterate. You just said that digitizing this work and creating a digital workflow for yourself has given you more time in your schools with our students and with our teachers and with our principals. Yes?
Oh, yes, very much.
I want to make sure everybody hears. That's amazing. Best point of the whole show. Love it.
I just found Barrett on Twitter. He just started liking some of these tweets. So just for our audience, this is the man. Can you all see my screen? You see Barrett on there? Okay, so it looks like he is at CCBOE_IT_department. So, and there's my teammate Laura as well, working with your district. So I just started following him. Ladies on the Kentucky Go Digital Live team, I feel like we need to make fast friends with Mr. Bush there out in Carter County.
I was just about to say that. We're going to have to show him some love and bring him into the fold because we want to pick his brain.
That's right. Okay, so thank you all so much for sharing. And now we're going to go into some more of the technical side. And we have the fabulous Elaine Abanatha, who's going to be talking about the tech tool, how to create these systems. So thank you so much. We know you're very busy people. Feel free to stay and learn if you like, or if you need to get back to business. We just want you to know what a joy and honor it was to have you on the show today. And like Brooke said, be ready, Kentucky, because we're going to spam you with this show. I think every superintendent in the state needs to see it. And I've already been thinking of some that I'm going to send it to immediately. So thank you all so much.
All right, I'm not Elaine, but I'm gonna hop in and take over here real quick.
Oops, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. We were having a little back channel conversation on this, so you're all good. It's all good. But thank you for that amazing show. We're gonna start off. I know I'm operating on two screens here, but you guys should be able to see my screen now. And we are going to just kind of walk you through, first of all, the creation of forms and kind of the connection to that with Sheets. So I'm going to start off here in your Google Drive, and then I'm going to pass the torch over to Elaine when we get to Sheets, and she's going to show you a few tools there in Sheets. So right here is our Google Drive. And I know I say this all the time. I say this every time I train, but this is our one-stop shop. This is where you want to make sure that you always start, make this your desktop, bookmark it. It's the very first thing I always do with students. Google Drive logo is going to be what you want to look for when you're looking at your apps. So I'm just going to go over here, and I always say start in Drive because you can do everything that you need to do from this window instead of going to the individual apps. So I'm going to just open up a new Google form. First on my new folder or button in the top left, I went down to more, and then I am going to click on Google Forms. Now, I loved how Superintendent Dotson and his team shared about all the innovative ways they're using Google Forms. And if you notice, there was a lot of pieces through those slides as he was going through that were inside of Google Sheets, and the manipulation of data and assessment all was in Google Sheets. And so what you may or may not have noticed, and at this point you may want to pause me and go back and look at some of those slides, but he was talking about responses. Now, I have a form here that I pulled up that is a form that I use here in Hardin County for PD credit for our Google certification. So I wanted to show you how to start a form, but also kind of give you an idea of one that's already been completed. So this is just a very basic form where I am asking teachers who pass their Google certification to fill out this form. And I will tell you, I know Elaine can testify to this as well, but Google Forms for professional development tracking is just such a natural, easy way to get started using forms as part of your digital system. So when I go over here to responses, and this is where I was talking about with Superintendent Dotson and how he had a lot of those common assessment tracker sheets, you'll notice in the top of that video it says responses. And so we know, because it says responses, we know that he was having his principals, his teachers, and his staff in general in Carter County responding to that information on a Google form. So what I have here as I scroll down the screen is just my responses. I only have 10 responses here. This is a fairly new form. But I love here we've got our instant capture of data. And a new feature that just rolled out, I'll just show you real quick because it's cool. But you can actually copy your charts with this new button in Forms. And what that does, it takes this chart, and it's a live living chart, and you can paste it anywhere your heart desires, and it will be live. So it's really cool. It's a great feature. So I want to go up because while we do like the summary of data here on this screen, you know, it's limited as to what we can see. And so you can't really do a whole lot with this data. It's a lovely tracker. But I want to direct your attention to this little green button in the top right of this screen. So as I hover my mouse over that green button, you'll notice it says View Responses in Sheets. So basically, when I click this button, it is going to open a Google Sheet. And this is what I was referring to with Mr. Dotson in his slide deck, is this little in parentheses where it says responses. So what we have now is a Google Sheet. Okay, so we're in the Google Sheets app now. If you'll look in the top left, you'll see your Sheets logo, so we know it's Google Sheets. And now we can manipulate this data however we want to do it. And this is where it gets really exciting and really geeky. So I'm going to pass it over to my favorite nerd, Elaine Abenatha. You want to take over?
Sure. Thank you, Heather or Brooke. That was awesome. Definitely great information. Can everybody see my screen? Let's see if I can click share. When you start getting so many windows. There we go. I'll click share now. Okay. Brooke, thank you. That was awesome. And one of the stuff that I wanted, sometimes I need to make sure that I emphasize with everyone is that when you use Google, it is very important that you use Chrome. And it's just, to me, it's just a business model that that Google has used because that's their internet browser. So you just make sure that when you're using these tools, whether you're using a PC or if you're using a MacBook or even a Chromebook. Of course, if it's a Chromebook, you're most likely going to have Chrome on it already. But just go ahead and download that browser so that you're using Google to its fullest. And then by signing in, there's multiple depending on what type of device you're using. But just making sure that you're holistically signed into Chrome so that you can get the best benefit of this all these awesome tools. So what Brooke showed you was the form, and Brooke, I remember this, but I wanted to go ahead and you weren't able to say it, but sometimes creating these can get cumbersome. So I wanted to go ahead and show you that when you go into creating a form, and you click your new button, once you click on more, Google Forms has added, or Google has added a new button that's got from a template. And if I click that, it takes me to this window over here that gives you some awesome templates for your use if you want. So you don't have to necessarily create the wheel again. Some of them are already here. And then if your school district decides to, you actually have the ability, which ours hasn't started, but now I'm realizing that I should, but inserts some templates for yours so that you can share these awesome tools that you're creating. So I just wanted to make sure that those points were made. But so when
real quick, Elaine, on that, go back to that slide that tab you just had open.
Yes.
On that too, like I'm glad you mentioned that because I totally forgot about it. But this exists inside of Google Docs, inside of Sheets, and inside of Slides as well. So the template gallery is not just in Forms; it is across the board. So just a point to kind of keep in mind as you are watching Elaine and looking at some of those templates in the Form gallery. You can find galleries in any of those apps. So thank you for bringing that up.
Definitely, for sure. It's just, of course, a good way to start for newbies. And actually, I'm thinking, hey, I need to visit here more often too. So definitely a great thing to start using. But we did see on some of the things that we saw earlier, how they specifically talked about things that turn different colors for, and that saved them a lot of time just to decipher what award someone got or whatnot. And I've actually used this recently, the conditional format for if a certain word showed up for a counselor's a form for a student to see a counselor, like if it was a word that was was just a word that was alarming or something, it turned their entry red. So conditional formatting can be used for a lot of wide variety of things, but to do that, so what Brooke also told us was that this form spits into the responses here, but then by pushing this button, you're creating your spreadsheet. And so then once you created your form and you used your spreadsheet, you would be able to see this data all in here. But if you select a column and you, for instance, we wanted these PD hours to turn a certain color if they were over a certain number. So you would just select the column, or even you can select just specific cells as well. And you go into format and then conditional formatting. This toolbar over here at the right will show up, and you'll see where it says apply to a range. And because I've selected this column, it says from D1 to D1000. And then we are going to get to drop down this, use this drop down menu. And this is where we can say if it was for a date or if text contains. That's what I used for the alarming words for that other one. But for what we saw previously on the PD hours was if it's greater than or less than or equal to. So we're gonna format this. So column D, if it's greater than, and then you have to import your data. So maybe they were saying if it's greater than 20, it's going to turn it into a different color. And it defaults right here to green, but you can custom format and make it actually whatever color you choose. by using this paint menu right here. And so we're going to make it red, or we could even, actually they said gold, so maybe we wanted to change it to be gold, so you can make it. And then once you've set that rule, and you can set as many rules as you want. If I put in, so it was over, if I put in a number, then that actually then automatically changes to according to what your rule is. So lots of really awesome ways to use conditional formatting, but that is one of the ways, the tools that we saw just a moment ago. And so using that can help you decipher data instead of, and let the computer do the work, and working smarter, not harder. So, but was there anything else, guys, that you thought that we needed to see? Or
I love the conditional formatting. I think just to kind of give our viewers some ideas on conditional formatting, I know I have a lot of schools who use that for just the data visualization piece of, you know, benchmarks. I think Mr. Dotson had that in his slideshow too. Just to be able to get a quicker snapshot of that. I know that we have teachers using the conditional formatting for, you know, our MAP scores and placing kids in RTI and color coding that, again, to make that a little bit easier. Elaine, you want to show just really quick the filter view and filtering? I think that is very beneficial, especially when we are talking about a district level and looking at large quantities of data. I think it's really nice to be able to show them where that filter button is inside of Sheets. Do you care to do that?
No, not at all. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up something here that, okay, you guys can see that. So right now I'm working with our transportation department, and we are doing just as that. So these are, this is, I just needed some data to show you guys, and I need to, actually I want to show you guys that too. You're right, I am a nerd, but so all of these, and I love it, it just gets me excited. So this is the responses for our bus requests, and if I needed to filter this, it is important that you know if you have a bunch of add-ons too, to make it so that, let me hide this so it can get out of my way. I'm going to jump over to this so it doesn't mess up my my autocorrect going on there. But and I'll explain that in another time if I need to. But this import range allows me to manipulate this data and it not mess up my autocorrect. So, but the filter view is it is one of my favorite buttons because it allows you to manipulate everything. So when you click on this, and sometimes it's just depending on how large your screen is or whatnot, it just looks like a funnel. So filtering it, and when you click on, turn it on, you are able to, my computer is deciding to be slow. You're able to filter all of your columns based upon. So, so right now, all this data, I would want to know maybe which trips or whatnot are, you know, are coming up and making these in chronological order. So once you click that, you can manipulate this data by chronological order or by time or whatnot. And so, or if these were just names, you can turn all of on or off if you just wanted to see a certain date or a certain person.
Hey, Elaine?
Yes.
Elaine, I think, can you click on your name? My nodding head is showing up on YouTube. I just noticed. So,
okay, so let me back up. You're good.
I think our viewers just saw me getting really excited about what you're showing on your screen.
Well, I'll go back. So let me take, I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, just show them where the button is. I think will be good.
Okay, so this is your form, your data from your spread, this is the data from your form. And if you click on, sometimes it's hidden under this more, and once you click on it, it actually turns to full. And so now you can click on the arrow according to what column you're trying to sort the data in, and then make it where you have the select just certain things that you want to see, or even sort them from A to Z. And so chronological, and this would be backwards from Z to A, of course. So now I'm actually able to see these all in order from date. But one of the things also it's neat that I like is this drop down, but beside the filter, and it's to create a filter view. So if I am actually sharing this with Brooke, and Brooke is working in it, I don't want to manipulate it and have her get confused as to where things are if she's trying to find some information herself. So if you create a filter view, and you can save these for future uses, then you're able to manipulate without other people seeing what you're doing if they're on the document at the same time. And that can be very beneficial as well. So, and then you can name it and save it. So I have used that a couple of times in our district for people to access the data, but not need to see everybody else's information that they're trying to look at. One of the things that is another one of my favorite, I don't know, Brooke, if this is one of your favorites, but if you select inside a cell and you push Command F, there is a find in sheet here that allows you to search this entire document for a specific thing that you're looking for. So, and it will highlight. So if I was just looking for a trip that is for today, I would be able to find all that and also be able to see the number of occurrences that it happens inside the sheet. So that's a really cool little trick as well. So is there anything else, Brooke, that you can think of that maybe I need to, that we can show?
No, I think that I just, my two favorite things, I think, getting started with data manipulation in Google Sheets is really the conditional formatting and the filter views. And I think those are both just really awesome tools that make it easier and more intentional too, you know, especially at the district level when you're looking at, you know, the bigger the district, the more data you're going to have and the more tools you're going to want access to be able to make that analysis of data easier for you and more efficient and productive for your team. So I especially, I use the filter views a lot with principals. I just use them with Brittany Nickel at East for her club day. And, you know, we had all the students in the whole building submit on one form, and it was one of the largest sheets I'd ever worked with. And we did everything we needed to do just with creating filter views. So, you know, it's really nice and efficient and a good way to kind of start playing around with your data inside of Google Sheets. So.
Right. Okay. Awesome, ladies. I agree. I think one of the biggest problems in education is people spend so much time just trying to get the data. And the Google Forms allows us to rapidly get the data that we're after, and then Sheets pushes everything to a sheet and we can quickly sort and filter it. And I know our PLCs at Thomas Nelson use this to quickly filter kids in need of intervention every other week. They would assess them, use a Google form, funnel the data, and then identify kids for intervention. And they move so much more rapidly to intervene and get those kids the skills that they were lacking using this system. And I always say, what are we going to do? Sit with 600 Scantrons and scan them all in? I mean, this is 2017. We're not going to scan in 600 Scantrons. We're going to use a Google form, hit a couple buttons, and get the data immediately. So thank you so much. I know we all nerd out on Google Sheets because we see the power in them. So what a great show. You know, we talk about it starts from the top down, and I think the superintendent, Dotson, and Miss Dotson, the instructional supervisor, are exemplary models of the exact work that we want to see taking place in school districts. We know that as they lead their principals in their district office, then those people have experiences with digital tools and they begin leading their teachers using these tools, and then teachers embed them into the classroom. So a stellar model. We hope everyone enjoys the power of pause. I know I'm going to go back and watch this show a few times. Elaine, what would you like to share how people can get continued support or resources from this show?
Absolutely. So, of course, we have our YouTube channel, which if you're there, just go ahead and click that subscribe button. That will allow you to get notifications of when we have shows coming up. And that way you don't miss a show, but it also gives you a quick link as soon as you visit YouTube, how to get to our channel. And then also we have a Facebook page that will you can ask questions, or you can see the shows there as well. The YouTube's probably the best bet. And of course, you have Twitter. So the hashtag Kentucky Go Digital, if you'll follow that and then also contribute to it, because we want to learn from you as much as you learn from us as well. So hashtag Facebook and YouTube.
And Brooke, we have some Kentucky Go Digital regional events underway. The planning's underway for this summer. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. You know, we love it when we get to get face-to-face with all of our Kentucky Go Digital friends. So mark your calendars. Region 1 is going to be May 24th at Murray State. Region 2 will be July 10th, and that will be at Grit. And the East Regional will be at Morehead State, and the date will be announced very soon. So be watching the hashtag Kentucky Go Digital. And, you know, we always talk about it, so you can always catch us here, and make sure you reserve your spot for those.
Yay, so much good stuff going on. And we had the Principal Ed Camp yesterday. I know we've been talking about it for months, and it was, wow, those principal leaders leading the charge using Google tools to revolutionize the way we're leading schools. That was very powerful. So I don't know if you guys heard me say this yesterday to them, but our goal is YUM 2018. We had such rapid growth in the number of principals attending. We're going after YUM Center next year. So until then, we have a couple other shows in the Superintendent series. On December 18th, we are with Superintendent Mark Kopp, talking about how he leverages the power of social media to build community. He's a new superintendent out there in, I believe, Franklin County. And we also have the day after, December 19th, Greg Schultz and Willie Foster, who are with Oldham County Schools. They're going to discuss how they use Google Slides for their CDIP planning. So good stuff going on. So until then, don't forget that as you create, connect, and make sure you create, connect, and share those good ideas to our hashtag at Kentucky Go Digital. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Get involved with Kentucky Go Digital. Attend regional events, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or follow us on Twitter.